Across the leaping springs of death and birth, and over shifting borders of soul change, a hunter on the spirit's creative track, he followed in life's fine and mighty trails, pursuing a seal formidable delight in a perilous adventure without close. At first no aim appeared in these large steps, only the wide source he saw of all things here, looking towards a wider source beyond. For as she drew away from earthly lines, a tenser drag was felt from the unknown, a higher context of delivering thought drove her towards marvel and discovery. There came a high release from pettier cares, a mightier image of desire and hope, a vaster formula, a greater scene. Ever she circled towards some far-off light. Her signs still covered more than they revealed, but tied to some immediate sight and will, they lost their purpose in the joy of use, till, stripped of their infinite meaning, they became a cipher gleaming with unreal sense. Armed with a magical and haunted bow, she aimed at a target kept invisible and ever deemed remote, though always near. As one whose spells illumined characters, the key book of a crabbed magician text, he scanned the subtle, tangled, weird designs, and the screened, difficult theorem of her clues, traced in the monstrous sands of desert time, the thread beginnings of her Titan works, watched her charade of action for some hint, read the no gestures of her silhouettes, and strove to capture in their burdened drift the dance fantasia of her sequences, escaping into rhythmic mystery, a glimmer of fugitive feet on fleeing soil. In the labyrinth pattern of her thoughts and hopes, and the byways of her intimate desires, in the complex corners crowded with her dreams, and rounds crossed by an intrigue of irrelevant rounds, a wanderer straying amid fugitive scenes, he lost its signs and chased each failing guess. Ever he met keywords, ignorant of their key. A sun that dazzled its own eye of sight, a luminous enigma's brilliant hood, lit the dense purple barrier of thought's sky. A dim, large trance showed to the night her stars, as if sitting near an open window's gap, he read by lightning flash on crowding flesh chapters of her metaphysical romance, of the soul's search for lost reality, and her fictions drawn from spirit's authentic fact, her caprices and conceits, and meanings locked, her rash, unseizable freaks, and mysteried turns. The magnificent wrappings of her secrecy that fold her desirable body out of sight, the strange significant forms woven on her robe, her meaningful outlines of the souls of things he saw. Her false transparencies of thought hue, her rich brocades with imaged fancies sewn, and mutable masks and broideries of disguise. 1,000 babbling faces of the truth looked at him from her forms with unknown eyes, and wordless mouths unrecognizable spoke from the figures of our masquerade, or peered from the recondite magnificence and subtle splendor of our drapery. In sudden scintillations of the unknown, inexpressive sounds became veridical. Ideas that seemed unmeaning fleshed out truth. Voices that came from unseen waiting worlds uttered the syllables of the unmanifest to clothe the body of the mystic word, and with their diagrams of the occult law sealed some precise unreadable harmony, or used hue and figure to reconstitute the herald blazon of time's secret things. In our green wildernesses and lurking depths, in our thickets of joy, where danger clubs delight, he glimpsed the hidden wings of our songster hopes, a glimmer of blue and gold and scarlet fire. In her covered lanes, bordering her chance-filled paths, and by her singing rivulets and calm lakes, he found the glow of her golden fruits of bliss, and the beauty of her flowers of dream and muse. As if a miracle of hearts had changed by joy, he watched in the alchemist radiance of her suns the crimson outburst of one secular flower on the tree of sacrifice of spiritual love. In the sleepy splendor of her noons, he saw a perpetual repetition through the hours, thought's dance of dragonflies on mystery's tree, that skim but never taste its mamma's race, and heard the laughter of her rose desires, running as if to escape from longed-for ends, jingling sweet anklet bells of fantasy. Amidst live symbols of her occult power, he moved, and felt them as close real forms. In that life, more concrete than the lives of men, throbbed heartbeats of the hidden reality. Embodied was there what we but think and feel. Self-framed, what yet takes outward borrowed shapes. A comrade of silence on our austere heights, accepted by our mighty loneliness, he stood with her on meditating peace, where life and being are a sacrament offered to the reality beyond, and saw her lose into infinity her hooded eagles of significance, messengers of thought to the unknowable. Identified in soul vision and soul sense, entering into her depths as into a house, all he became that she was, or longed to be. He thought with her thoughts, and journeyed with her steps, lived with her breath, and scanned all with her eyes, that he might learn the secret of our soul. A witness, overmastered by sea, he admired her splendid front of pomp and play, and the marvels of her rich and delicate craft, and thrilled to the insistence of her cry. Impassioned, he bore the sorceries of her might, felt laid on him her abrupt, mysterious will, her hands that need fate in their violent grasp, her touch that moves, her powers that seize and drive. But this too he saw, her soul that wept within, her seekings vain, that clutched at fleeing truth, her hopes whose sombre gaze mates with despair, the passion that possessed her longing limbs, the trouble and rapture of her yearning breasts, her mind that toils unsatisfied with its fruits, her heart that captures not the one beloved. Always he met a veiled and seeking force, an exiled goddess building mimic heavens, a sphinx whose eyes look up to a hidden sun. Ever he felt near a spirit in our forms. Its passive presence was a nature's strength. This soul is real in apparent things. Even upon earth, the spirit is life's key. But as solid outsides nowhere bear its trace. Its stamp on our rags is undiscoverable. A pathos of lost heights is its appeal. Only sometimes is caught a shadowy line that seems a hint of veiled reality. Life stared at him with vague, confused outlines, offering a picture the eyes could not give, a story that was yet not written there. As in a fragmentary half-lost design, life's meanings fled from the pursuing eye. Life's visage hides life's real self from sight. Life's secret sense is written within, above. The thought that gives it sense lives far beyond. It is not seen in its half-finished design. In vain we hope to read the baffling signs or find the word of the half-lit charade. Only in that greater life a cryptic thought is found, is hinted, some interpreting word that makes the earth meet a tale intelligible. Something was seen at last that looked like truth. In a half-lit air of hazardous mystery, the eye that looks at the dark half of truth made out an image mid a vivid blur, and peering through a mist of subtle hints, he saw a half-blind, chained divinity, bewildered by the world in which he moved, yet conscious of some light prompting his soul, attracted to strange, far-off shimmerings, led by the fluting of a distant player, he sought his way amid life's laughter and call, and the index chaos of our myriad steps towards some total deep infinity. Around crowded the forest of a science. At hazard, irradiated by arrow leaps of thought that hit the mark by guess or luminous chance, a changing color, road lights of idea, and her signals of uncertain swift event, the hieroglyphs of her symbol pageantries, and her landmarks in the tangled paths of time. In her mazes of approach and of retreat, to every side she draws him and repels, but drawn too near, escapes from his embrace. Always she leads him, but no way is sure. Allured by the many-toned marvel of her chant, attracted by the witchcraft of her moods, and moved by her casual touch to joy and grief, he loses himself in her, but wins her not. A fugitive paradise smiles at him from her eyes. He dreams of her beauty, made forever his. He dreams of his mastery, her limbs shall bear. He dreams of the magic of her breasts of bliss. In her illumined script, her fanciful translation of God's pure original text, he thinks to read the scripture wonderful, hieratic key to unknown beatitudes. But the word of life is hidden in its script. The chant of life has lost its divine note. Unseen, a captive in a house of sound, the spirit lost in the splendor of a dream, listens to 1,000-voiced illusions of old. A delicate waft of sorcery steals the heart, or a fiery magic tints her tones and hues. Yet they but wake a thrill of transient grace, a vagrant march struck by the wonder of time, the call to a brief, unsatisfied delight, or wallow in ravishments of mind and sense, but miss the luminous answer of the soul. A blind heart-throb that reaches joy through tears, a yearning towards peaks forever unreached, an ecstasy of unfulfilled desire, track the last heavenward climbings of her voice. Transmuted are past sufferings, memories, into an old sadness's sweet escaping tree. Turned are her tears to gems of diamond pain, our sorrow into a magic crown of song. Brief are her snatches of felicity that touch the surface, then escape or die. A lost remembrance echoes in her depths, a deathless longing is hers, a veiled self's call, a prisoner in the mortal's limiting world, a spirit wounded by life, sobs in her breast, a cherished suffering is her deepest cry. A wanderer on forlorn despairing routes, along the roads of sound, a frustrate voice, forsaken, cries to a forgotten bliss. Astray in the echo caverns of desire, it guards the phantoms of a soul's dead hopes and keeps alive the voice of perished things, or lingers upon sweet and errant notes, hunting for pleasure in the heart of pain. A fateful hand has touched the cosmic chords, and the intrusion of a troubled strain covers the inner music's hidden key that guides unheard the surface cadences. Yet is it joy to live and to create, and joy to love and labor, though all fails, and joy to seek, though all we find deceives, and all on which we lean betrays our trust. Yet something in its depths was worth the pay, a passionate memory haunts with ecstasy's fire. Even grief has joy hidden beneath its roots, for nothing is truly vain the one has made. In our defeated hearts, God's strength survives, and victory's star still lights our desperate road. Our death is made a passage to new worlds. This to life's music gives its anthem swell. To all she lends the glory of her voice. Heaven's raptures whisper to her heart and pass. Earth's transient yearnings cry from her lips and fade. Alone the God-given hymn escapes her heart, that came with her from a spiritual home, but stopped halfway and failed. A silent word, awake in some deep pause of waiting worlds. A murmur suspended in eternity's hush, but no breath comes from the supernal peace. A sumptuous interlude occupies the ear, and the heart listens, and the soul consents. In evanescent music it repeats, wasting on transience, time's eternity. A tremolo of the voices of the hours, oblivious screams at the high intended theme. The self-embodying spirit came to play on the vast clavichord of nature force. Only a mighty murmur here and there of the eternal word, the blissful voice, or beauty's touch, transfiguring heart and sense, a wandering splendor and a mystic cry recalls the strength and sweetness heard no more. Here is the gap. Here stops or sinks life's force. This deficit paupers the magician's skill. This want makes all the rest seem thin and bare. A half sight draws the horizon of her ends. Her depths remember what she came to do, but the mind has forgotten, or the heart mistakes. In nature's endless lines is lost the God. In knowledge, to sum up omniscience, in action, to erect the omnipotent, to create our Creator here, was our heart's conceit. To invade the cosmic scene with utter God, toiling to transform the still far absolute into an all-fulfilling epiphany, into an utterance of the ineffable, she would bring the glory here of the Absolute's force. Change poise into creation's rhythmic swing, merry with a sky of calm, a sea of bliss. A fire to call eternity into time, make bodies joy as vivid as the soul's. Earth should lift to neighborhood with heaven. Labor's life to equate to the supreme, and reconcile the eternal and the abyss. Our pragmatism of the transcendent truth fills the silence with the voices of the gods. But in the cry, the single voice is lost. For nature's vision climbs beyond her acts. A life of gods in heaven she sees above. A demigod emerging from an ape is all she can in our mortal element. Here the half-god, the half-titan are her peak. This greater life wavers twixt earth and sky. A poignant paradox pursues her dreams. Her hooded energy moves an ignorant world to look for a joy her own strong clasp puts off. In her embrace it cannot turn to its source. Immense her power, endless her acts, vast drive. Astray is its significance and lost. Although she carries in her secret breast the law and journeying curve of all things born, her knowledge partial seems, her purpose small. On a soil of yearning, tread her sumptuous hours. A laden nescience weighs the wings of thought. Her power oppresses the being with its garbs. Her action prisons its immortal gaze. A sense of limit haunts her masteries, and nowhere is assured content or peace. For all the depth and beauty of her work, a wisdom lacks that sets the spirit free. An old and faded charm had now her face, and palled for him her quick and curious lore. His wide soul asked deeper joy than hers. Out of her deeded lines he sought escape, but neither gate of awe nor ivory he found, nor postern of spiritual sight. There was no issue from that dream-like space. Our being must move eternally through time. Death helps us not. Vain is the hope to cease. A secret will compels us to endure. Our life's repose is in the infinite. It cannot end. Its end is life supreme. Death is a passage, not the goal of our walk. Some ancient deep impulsion labors on. Our souls are dragged as with a hidden leash, carried from birth to birth, from world to world. Our acts prolong after the body's fall, the old perpetual journey without pause. No silent peak is found where time can rest. This was a magic stream that reached no sea. However far he went, wherever turned, the wheel of works ran with him and outstripped. Always a further task was left to do, a beat of action and a cry of search forever grew in that unquiet world. A busy murmur filled the heart of time. All was contrivance and unceasing stir. 100 ways to live were tried in vain. A sameness that assumed 1,000 forms strove to escape from its long monotone and made new things that soon were like the old. A curious decoration lured the eye, and novel values furbished ancient themes to cheat the mind with the idea of change. A different picture that was still the same appeared upon the cosmic vague background. Only another labyrinthine house of creatures and their doings and events, a city of the traffic of bound souls, a market of creation and our wares, was offered to the laboring mind and heart. A circuit ending where it first began is dubbed the forward and eternal march of progress on perfection's unknown road. Each final scheme leads to a sequel plan. Yet every new departure seems the last. Inspired evangel, theory's ultimate peak, proclaiming a panacea for all time's ills, or carrying thought in its ultimate zenith flight, and trumpeting supreme discovery. Each brief idea, a structure perishable, publishes the immortality of its rule, its claim to be the perfect form of things, truth's last epitome, time's golden best. But nothing has been achieved of infinite worth. A world made ever anew, never complete, piled always half attempts on lost attempts, and saw a fragment as the eternal whole. In the aimless mounting total of things done, existence seemed a vain necessity's act, a wrestle of eternal opposites, in a clasped antagonism's close-locked embrace, a play without denouement or idea, a hunger march of lives without a goal, or written on a bare blackboard of space, a futile and recurring sum of souls, a hope that failed, a light that never shone, the labor of an unaccomplished force, tied to its acts in a dim eternity. There is no end, for none can yet be seen. Although defeated, life must struggle on. Always she sees a crown she cannot grasp. Her eyes are fixed beyond her fallen state. There quivers still within her breast and ours a glory that was once and is no more. Or there calls to us from some unfulfilled beyond a greatness yet unreached by the halting world. In a memory behind our mortal sense, a dream persists of larger, happier air, breathing around free hearts of joy and love, forgotten by us, immortal in lost time. A ghost of bliss pursues our haunted depths, for she remembers still, though now so far, her realm of golden ease and glad desire, and beauty and strength and happiness that were hers, in the sweetness of her glowing paradise, in her kingdom of immortal ecstasy, halfway between God's silence and the abyss. This knowledge in our hidden parts we keep. Awake to a vague mystery's appeal, we meet a deep unseen reality, far truer than the world's face of present truth. We are chased by a self we cannot now recall, and moved by a spirit we must still become. As one who has lost the kingdom of his soul, we look back to some God face of our birth, other than this imperfect creature here, and hope in this or a diviner world to recover yet from heaven's patient guard what by our mind's forgetfulness we miss. Our being's natural felicity, our heart's delight we have exchanged for grief, the body's thrill we bartered for mere pain, the bliss for which our mortal nature yearns, as yearns an obscure moth to blazing light. Our life is a march to a victory never won. This wave of being, longing for delight, this eager turmoil of unsatisfied strengths, these long far files of forward striving hopes, lift worshipping eyes to the blue void called heaven, looking for the golden hand that never came, the advent for which all creation waits, the beautiful visage of eternity that shall appear upon the roads of time. Yet still to ourselves we say, rekindling faith, oh, surely one day he shall come to our cry. One day he shall create our life anew and utter the magic formula of peace and bring perfection to the scheme of things. One day he shall descend to life on earth, leaving the secrecy of the eternal doors into a world that cries to him for help, and bring the truth that sets the spirit free, the joy that is the baptism of the soul, the strength that is the outstretched arm of love. One day he shall lift his beauty's dreadful veil, impose delight on the world's beating heart, and bear his secret body of light and bliss. But now we strain to reach an unknown goal. There is no end of seeking and of birth. There is no end of dying and return. The life that wins its aim, asks the greater aims. The life that fails and dies must live again. Till it has found itself, it cannot cease. All must be done for which life and death were made. But who shall say that even then is rest, or their repose and action are the same in the deep breast of God's supreme delight? In a high state where ignorance is no more, each movement is a wave of peace and bliss. Repose, God's motionless creative force, action, a ripple in the infinite, and birth, a gesture of eternity. A sun of transfiguration still can shine, and night can bear its core of mystic light. The self-cancelling, self-afflicting paradox into a self-luminous mystery might change. The imbroglio into a joyful miracle. Then God could be visible here. Here take a shade. Disclosed would be the Spirit's identity. Life would reveal her true immortal face. But now, a termless river is her fame. In its recurrent decimal of events, birth, death, appear as its vibrating points. The old question mark margins each finished page, each volume of our efforts' history. A limping yes through the eons, journey still, accompanied by an eternal no. All seems in vain, yet endless is the game. Impassive turns the ever-circling wheel. Life has no issue. Death brings no release. A prisoner of itself, the being lives and keeps its futile immortality. Extinction is denied, the soul escapes. An error of the gods has made the world, or indifferent, the eternal watches